Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with fabulous concert program number 8. And this is our Martinu Symphony Cycle, and we're up to Symphony number 2. Now, Martinu's second symphony is his shortest. It's only about like between 22, 25 minutes or so in 4 very pithy movements. It's a lovely, lovely work, somewhat neoclassical in shape. It's the one that's really most closely related in kind of construction and shape to Martinu's mentor, Albert Roussel, whose 4th symphony is somewhat similar. If you listen to the finales of both, you probably will hear the similarity quite clearly. But whereas Roussel is more hard-hitting rhythm and pungent harmony, Martinu is more dreamy, fantastical, and overtly lyrical. And there's a lot of that in this symphony. It's a charming pastoral work. Martinu himself said of it, he sees no need for the technical expression of torture in music. What we need are beautiful thoughts calmly expressed. And there is a sense of calm about this music. The very opening is wonderful. It's another one of those underwater things that I keep talking about. You kind of feel seaweed or fronds waving in the below. It's with the bubbles escaping up. I don't know how else to describe it. I've never met a composer whose music so fabulously suits the idea of this sort of magical underwater scene. It's not realistic. It's just, that's what it says to me. Anyway, it's lovely. The tunes are marvelous. And there's no reason anyone wouldn't love it. It's short and perky, and it just gets the job done fantastically well. I have assembled a program here that is based on that sort of underwatery feel of the opening of the Second Symphony. But you don't have to agree with me that that's what it is to have it work perfectly well, in my view. Both sides of this program, I think, have things that are really, really interesting. And as I often do in these programs, I like to use 4 pieces if I can, because you just have so much more flexibility than the standard overture, concerto, symphony, and there's no reason why you can't tuck in another short work somewhere. It doesn't hurt anything. So the program is Bach's Tintagel. Hello, all you Bachians. I know you're going to be happy. Tintagel is just the most magnificent seascape that anybody ever wrote. You know, you're just standing there on a cliff looking at the waves crashing against the rocks. And, oh, my God, it's glorious. Absolutely glorious. What a great concert opener. It's one of those pieces people will listen to. You'll hear it when you play it, and they're going to say, where has this been all my life? Oh, my God. So that's fabulous. Next, well, I made a concession to the standard thing, and I offer the concerto. In this case, it's the Mendelssohn Concerto, because everybody loves it, and I adore it. And why not? I mean, everyone plays it. It's a huge crowd pleaser. It's enormous fun. You get a hotshot violinist to do it, and you're in business. And, you know, Mendelssohn, of course, wrote his own marvelous seascapes. He wrote the Hebrides, but that's okay. I don't want this to be a specifically ocean-themed concert. I want the idea of water and that kind of feeling of the swell of the waves, you know, that I want that to be an oral image that unites some of these pieces. Some of them, not all of them. You don't have to be overly literal. It's a mistake, I think, to make a concert program overly literal, because you get, first of all, too much of the same thing, number one. And number two, I think there's more, you can build more variety. And contrast is just as important as similarities. Not everything has to be related to everything else. I think that's a cheap trick. I really do. I think that's kind of simplistic. So the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto works beautifully well with all of this stuff. It's gorgeous, and everyone will love it. And then there's intermission. And after intermission, I thought we would do another watery thing, Sibelius, the Oceanides, which doesn't get played as often as it deserves to. But it's Sibelius, and people like Sibelius, and it's very beautiful. I've seen it a few times, and it's just marvelous. And it goes very well with Tintagel. I mean, we have 2 halves of the concert, both of which begin with a seascape. And that's all you need to do, just those 2 shorter works. And the bigger things are what they are. And the concluding work is the Martinu's Second Symphony, which is such a warm and rewarding piece of music to wrap up a concert with. And it doesn't tire you out. So after the Oceanides, we'll begin with the Martinu, which has its own wateriness. And people might think, oh my goodness, it's a water piece too. Or they won't. It doesn't matter. It just fits sonically in with the other pieces on the program. And it has a fabulous finale. I mean, it really has a wonderful, listen to it, a big, satisfying ending. Really richly satisfying, but short. It's all, the opening movement's like 7 or 8 minutes or 9 minutes. The slow movement is, maybe 6 or 7. I don't know. I'm doing this off the top of my head. And the last 2 movements are quite short and pithy, 5 minutes. That's all. And it's a really, really rewarding program of interesting music, united not by the theme of the sea or of water, but by its sound. By the sound, just the sheer sound. And whether you call it water or anything else doesn't matter. What matters is the similarity of sound that makes these pieces all kind of fit. And the Mendelssohn is the Mendelssohn. I mean, what can I tell you? Does it sound like it's underwater? No, not really. But it has some of that similar kind of movement about it, it seems to me. Just that wonderful elfin lyricism that Mendelssohn did better than anybody. So there you go. It's a lovely, lovely concert, and I think everybody will enjoy it. And I really think the Martinu fits very, very well. And it's a lesson there that you don't have to actually have the biggest thing at the very end. You don't have to have the loudest noise. The loudest noises in this concert are in Tintagel, and maybe the big central wave in Oceanides. No, what you need is the most satisfying noises. The ones that are going to complete the whole listening experience in a way which gives your audience a fulfilling experience. That's what you need. And the lesson also not to be overly literal and not to make theme programs that are more about the theme than they are about the actual sound of the music, which should always be the determining factor, in my view, in assembling a really successful concert program. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.